1, 2, 3, and over the wall for me!
Hanna Barbera, the famous production house, gave us some of the best cartoon characters that were a huge part of our childhood. I think we have all grown up watching Hanna Barbera cartoons even without realizing it. Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, the Smurfs were some of the iconic animated television that became a household name in no time. However, there were many more feathers to their hat, the lesser-known characters that still hold a special place in the animation vault. So pour yourself some Fruity Pebbles because we are going to take a nostalgic dive into the Hanna Barbera archives and explore the 12 characters you may have forgotten. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Shazam. Featuring a giant genie, the animated series Shazam did not gain recognition during its time, but had its own quirks and charms. The series follows two teenage twins, Chuck and Nancy, as they stumbled upon a cave off the coast of Maine where they discover a strange chest with two halves of a mysterious ring. No, not the one ring of the hobbits, which gave the bearer the power to rule them all. Instead, when the siblings joined the two halves of the rings, they were transported to the mystical and ancient land of the Arabian Nights. There they met their friendly genie Shazam, who was at their beck and call when the twins join the rings and say Shazam. You know, any typical genie would grant you 3 wishes, or so I have heard, but not Shazam. He could grant the siblings almost any wish except to return them to their home until they found the real owner of the rings, known as the Wizard of the Seventh Mountain, who happened to be in the magical world. To help the little masters out with it, he also gifts them a cloak of invisibility and a magic rope that the siblings can command. Let me put it out there, on behalf of an ardent fan of both Harry Potter and Wonder Woman, I kinda feel a little jealous. Although Shazam closely resembles the enormous genie from the 1940 Thief of Baghdad film, our kid-friendly genie was way more jovial and cheerful with his Santa Claus-like hearty greetings of ho 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 ho. A towering figure of 60 feet tall, both wise and powerful, who would go to any war for Chuck and Nancy, Shazam was a parental figure, or perhaps a fun uncle every kid would love to have. Mounted on their winged camel, Kabooby, and the blue-skinned genie Shazam to their aid, the twins traveled across the magical Arabian land as they tried to get back to their home. They faced various challenges, like an evil sorcerer named Master of Thieves, and a demon entrapped in a bottle who seeks vengeance from those who trapped him. With every episode, the show took us on adventures that we, as kids, could only imagine and wish for. Along with that, the importance of teamwork and friendships in one's life, blended with the Arabian fantasy, created a world of enchantment and wonder. Although I loved the show, many did not share the same feelings, and hence, the series was lost in obscurity. It might not be as iconic as other characters created by Hanna Barbera, but it would certainly remind you of those lazy Saturday mornings and take you to a time of fun and innocence. Top Cat. Referred to by his cool nickname TC, the eponymous Top Cat lived in Hoagie's Alley in Manhattan with his litter of alley cats. Perhaps the wittiest character breathed to life by Hanna Barbera, Top Cat always runs his numerous get-rich-quick schemes and scams with his not-so-financially sound felines to make easy money, although they often backfire. Top Cat was a quick-witted, street-smart cat and had his way with words that could get him out of the trickiest situations. Although a con artist who just wanted to make some petty change on the streets of Manhattan and survive the world like everyone else, he was never one to betray his friends and would stick his neck out for his crew, especially for his best buddy, Benny the Ball, if need be. That's one loyal kitty cat. However, Top Cat and his crew have run-ins with Officer Dibbles, who would not miss any opportunity to arrest and kick them out of the alley they called their home. Pulling his cons with his crew of cats, Top Cat bent all the rules and indulged in petty crimes. Although the series was short-lived, with merely 30 episodes, Top Cat and his ragtag team of alley cats livened up the living rooms with their elaborate schemes. The cat and mouse game between Officer Dibble and the cats as they try to one-up each other added a delightful layer of laughter and fun, reflecting the 60s charm with its whimsical city life setting, lively and playful characters, and the perfectly infused jazz soundtrack captures the era's soul. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids. Similar to the cult classic Scooby-Doo, The show Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids followed the adventures of a teen pop band with the same title who worked undercover as secret agents. Led by the heartthrob Butch Cassidy, who was the lead vocalist and guitarist, the teenage rock band solved mysteries and caught criminals. The band also included the blonde beauty with brains, Mara Lee, the tambourine player who often was the quickest to figure out clues, the bass player Stephanie who never shies away from physical tasks, and Wally, the drummer, and also the gadget guy of the group. One fascinating addition to the band was Wally's dog Elvis, who can talk thanks to his special collar that translates his every thought into speech. If a day comes when animals can talk, I wonder what my cat would say. Coming back. While Elvis reminds us of our very own Goofy Scooby-Doo, Elvis takes a more active involvement in the team's escapades, wagging his tail and sniffing out clues, unlike our faint-hearted Scooby. The teenage detectives were advised by a supercomputer named Mr. Socrates, who is surprisingly allergic to dogs, so much so that even the mere mention of Elvis sent him on a sneeze spree. Leading double lives, the band fights crime and espionage around the world while being famous rock stars. So basically, rock concerts by day, espionage by night, or vice versa. How cool is that? With its psychedelic visuals and pop rock music setting the right mood, combined with a dash of mystery solving, it makes Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids an entertaining watch. Do tune in for a rocking time.
He's been everywhere, flying through.
Peter Potamus. The star of the show, Peter Potamus, is a bumbling purple-colored anthropomorphic hippopotamus dressed in a white shirt and a yellow hat. He is obviously not your typical water-loving and mud-slapping hippo. No sir, most definitely not. He travels through time in his hot air balloon called the Balloon-a-Loon, along with his best friend slash sidekick, a monkey named So-So. Yep, you heard it right. Off they go, zipping through history like a pair of groovy time tourists. Oh, you ask their mission? Explore the past, fix historical hiccups, and maybe grab a slice of pizza in ancient Rome if they had pizza back then. Nothing major, you see. While Peter is all fun and emo, the heart of the expeditions, his best friend the monkey, So-So, is the brains of the operation and the voice of reason. Think of a monkey who's read way too many detective novels. So-So is the one who figures out how to fix the past when things go a little wonky. However, no matter where their hot air balloon took them, there always was trouble brewing that had to be fixed. But fret not, Peter has a few tricks up his sleeves too, and he likes to call them Hippo Hurricane Holler, a powerful breath attack that solves many problems they just happen to find themselves in and defeat the villain of the particular episode. Known for his roaring laughter and his catchphrase, "I'm here to party," Peter is like a jazzy water-loving Doctor Who. Instead of a TARDIS, he's got his air balloon, and instead of a screwdriver, he is armed with his Hippo Hurricane Howler. Almost similar, isn't it? The show, set in historical and geographical settings, is a delightful concoction of slapstick humor and plain absurdity. It takes us on historical adventures through the interesting lens of a lovable, if not slightly goofy hippopotamus and his clever monkey sidekick. So, as Peter Potamus likes to say, full steam ahead, let's make history. Snagglepuss. A pink panther 4 years before the OG Pink Panther was created, Snagglepuss is a pink anthropomorphic mountain lion with a taste for finer things in life. Dressed in an upturned collar, cuffs, and a bow tie only, Snagglepuss has a somewhat flamboyant personality and is often seen quoting Shakespeare, or at least trying. Residing in a cave, but a passionate lover of culture and theater, Snagglepuss addresses the viewers only in self-narration, asides, and soliloquies. Oh, what irony! Snagglepuss is known for his phrases, "exit, stage left," and "heavens to Murgatroyd," and he would use the word "even" to close all his sentences. Despite his best efforts to live a refined and peaceful life, he often finds himself in unusual predicaments, which I like to call in a pickle. Unfortunately, he finds himself back to square one, sometimes even worse from where he started. With a penchant for melodrama and a certain dramatic flair, Snagglepuss's theatrical misadventures have its own charm. Filled with witty puns, Snagglepuss is all things charming. I bet you the smile on your face won't leave as long as the little old mountain lion Snagglepuss is on the screen to lighten it up. The Holiday Family. Very similar in theme to both the Flintstones and the Jetsons, the Roman holiday is set in ancient Rome during AD 63. So, set in the Marble Age, the show brings us the adventures, or rather the misadventures, of the Holiday family as they navigate modern-day challenge against a fictionalized Roman times. The head of the family, Augustus, aka Gus, works at the Forum Construction Company under his demanding boss. Gus's job is always on the line, and he lives his life in constant threat of being fired. He lived with his wife Lori, who kept the family grounded with grace and poise. She kind of balances the chaos of ancient Rome with her own brand of Roman elegance. The couple has a son, Happius, aka Hap, a typical teenager who is all about having fun, chasing girls, and joining hands with his father on his harebrained ideas. They have a daughter, Procotia, witty, sarcastic, and often the most sensible of the four at times. Another addition to the family is the family pet, Brutus, a pet lion, a full-fledged member on his fours who is fiercely loyal to the Holiday family. You know, he's not a pet, he's just misunderstood. While the Holiday family is self-sufficient in sabotaging their own lives with their antics, their noisy, exasperated landlord, Mr. Evictus, is always on the lookout. He tries every scheme to prove that the Holiday family lived with Brutus and constantly threatens to evict the Holiday family. But Brutus outsmarts him every time, leaving Mr. Evictus covered in feathers, flour, or mud. While the show lasted only for 13 episodes, it was unique in its own sense, with the ancient Roman elements blended with the universal themes of family life, like a pain-in-the-neck boss or a noisy landlord. The show offers a slice of life, taking inspiration from two different worlds where ancient Rome meets modern-day chaos. So brace yourself for toga-wearing shenanigans and chariot traffic jams. Snorks. The show Snorks displayed an imaginative underwater world centered around the playful and colorful aquatic creatures called the Snorks who lived in the Snorkland, where they sang and often took adventures. With a built-in snorkel on their head instead of noses, these whimsical creatures swiftly swam underwater. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Well, the premise is similar to the TV show The Smurfs, only the Snorks lived under the sea instead of in a forest. The show introduced us to a group of Snorks teenagers, a word I never imagined I would use, anywho, who try to save their Snorkland from danger. It included our brave and curious protagonist, All-Star Seaworthy, who was always ready for adventures, and Casey Kelp, our hero's best friend and fellow adventurer, who is quick-witted and resourceful. Tutor Shelby is the silent Snork who communicates solely through his musical toots, and the clumsy Snork that often causes unintentional chaos is Demi Finster. The Snorks are forbidden to ever set foot on land, fearing to be bound by humanity. You ask, why? Well, because we humans break good things. Sad, but true. Beneath the waves, every day is an adventure for the Snorks. The Snorks' underwater adventures and quirky personalities remind me of SpongeBob SquarePants and his friends in Bikini Bottom. Both shows celebrate friendship, silliness, and the joy of exploration beneath the waves. While SpongeBob SquarePants turned out to be a cult favorite, unfortunately, the same could not be said about Snorks. However, it still holds a nostalgic place in the hearts of those who grew up watching it. So what are you waiting for? Let's snork a happy song. Huckleberry Hound. The first animated program to be honored with an Emmy Award, The Huckleberry Hound Show featured Huckleberry Hound, a blue-colored anthropomorphic coonhound dog who spoke with a long, southern, drawn-out tone. Dressed in a yellow hat and a dashing red bow tie, a signature style, much like Bond's tuxedo, only Huck looked cooler. And who could resist that charm? Whistling the song Year of Jubilo, Huckleberry, often called Huck, is a laid-back dog who navigates life without a care in the world. With a chill personality and somewhat of a jack of all trades, Huck often finds himself in various professions and situations. In every episode, Huck takes on different roles and jobs and is usually seen breaking into the song Oh My Darling Clementine. She frequently sings off-key. From being a Roman gladiator, a medieval knight, and an outlaw to a modern police officer, it seems Huck has done it all. No matter how big the obstacle is, it is most definitely not for Zen Huck. His unconventional and relaxed approach to all trouble in his life adds simple yet clever humor. Interesting character from the show is Yogi Bear, who initially started as a supporting character. His catchphrase, smarter than the average bear, aptly describes Yogi. Slightly more cunning and ambitious than our naive Huck, Yogi always tries to snatch pick-a-nick baskets in Jellystone Park. Returning to our protagonist, imagine a red bow-tied Huck chatting with Huckleberry Finn, the iconic character from Mark Twain's novel. Both share a love for the great outdoors, a taste for adventure, and a talent for getting into amusing run-ins. They would probably swap stories about their escapades over a campfire if they ever met. Yogi Bear. Self-proclaimed that he is smarter than your average bear, Yogi Bear from the animated series The Yogi Bear Show made his first appearance as a supporting character on the Huckleberry Hound Show. His pick-a-nick basket-stealing act on that show became so popular that he got his own spin-off later. Talk about stealing the limelight. Yogi Bear is a big, tall, and full-size anthropomorphic bear with brown fur, a black nose, black eyes, eyebrows, and a tan muzzle. Dressed in his trademark green pork pie hat with a black center and a white collar with a green necktie, Yogi is one stylish bear. With a mischievous yet charming personality, Yogi Bear is always on the lookout to steal picnic baskets from Jellystone Park. He often tries to justify his picnic basket theft with witty logic and outsmarts the not-so-sly park ranger, Ranger Smith, who tries his best to thwart Yogi's unabashed thievery. Yogi's loyal companion in his numerous adventures is Boo Boo, a small, soft-spoken bear who often tries to reason Yogi against his zany schemes, yet follows Yogi on all his misadventures. Talk about through thick and thin. Yogi's character is very much like another Hanna-Barbera's character, Peter Potamus. Both characters have a larger-than-life presence, a deep voice, and well, bizarre situations conveniently find them both. Yogi's antics, often blended with his wit, charm, and harmless mischief, make him a lovable character. So as long as there are picnic baskets to steal, he is unstoppable, because as Yogi has said, I don't think we do get smarter as we get older. I just think we run out of stupid things to do, and I totally second that. Quick Draw McGraw. It's a jungle out there in the Wild West, and no place for the faint-hearted, with ruffians and bandits on the loose. Thankfully, Quick Draw McGraw, the rootin'-tootin' sheriff of the Old West, galloped onto our screens to ensure peace. Quick Draw McGraw is an anthropomorphic white horse with a red Stetson hat, a red holster belt, and a light blue bandana. Well-intentioned, but somewhat dim, Quick has an overconfident nature and overestimates his abilities. So maybe he is the Michael Scott of the horses, if you know what I mean. For God's sake, he accidentally shot himself with his own six-shooter. He often misjudges situations, leading to comical consequences that make him all the more endearing. But his heart's always in the right place. Quick Draw's loyal deputy, Baba Louie, is a small Mexican burro who wears a sombrero and affectionately calls Quick Draw Queekstra. Baba Louie is the more thoughtful half of the duo, always trying to caution Quick Draw about traps or danger. In each episode, Quick Draw interacts with various outlaws and hooligans and uses his wit, or sometimes with sheer dumb luck, finds ways to impart justice in his own quirky way. Okay, who am I kidding? Most of the time, I can't help but think that Quick Draw and Sherlock Holmes would make an intriguing duo in an alternate dimension. Picture them solving mysteries, Quick Draw with his six-shooter and Holmes with his deductive reasoning. Their catchphrase? Elementary, my dear. Quick Draw! I think I should hold my horses. Did you see what I did there? Never mind. Wally Gator. Wally Gator is a friendly anthropomorphic alligator who exudes a happy-go-lucky attitude. With a twinkle in his eye, Wally speaks with a southern accent, has a collar on his neck, and a pork pie hat atop his green head. You can say he is more like a mischievous suburban gentleman than a fearsome creature of the swamp. Although the show's catchy theme song hails Wally Gator as a swingin' alligator of the swamp, he constantly desires to explore the world beyond the enclosure in the city zoo. And optimistic to the extent of naivety, despite a comfortable setup with a hammock, Wally yearns to explore the outside world and experience freedom beyond the zoo walls. He believed that he could blend into human society with ease and thus was always plotting to escape the zoo. However, Mr. Twiddle, the diligent zookeeper, keeps a close eye on Wally. His plans often don't pan out the way he expects, and this leads to various comic situations that form the core of the episodes. Wally shares several traits with Yogi Bear, another Hanna-Barbera character. Both animals live in park settings where they are constantly at odds with their human supervisors and often find themselves in humorous escapades. However, Yogi is always looking for a picnic basket to pilfer, while Wally tries to check out what life would be like in the outside world. If Wally could just ask about the city life he craves to experience, I would advise otherwise. It's not fun here either. Wally's view that the grass is always greener on the other side resonates with the universal humankind. Paw Rug. An eccentric and fun character from the Hillbilly Bears, Paw Rug is a tall and slender anthropomorphic bear and the head of the Rug family. The show revolves around the chucklesome family of hillbilly bears, and Paw Rug is the bumbling, often confused patriarch of the Rug family. Dressed in a purple short-sleeved shirt, green pants held up by one suspender, and a yellow corn hat with holes for his ears, Paw is often seen smoking a pipe. Despite his laid-back attitude towards life, he was a family man. His family includes his level-headed homemaker Ma, even amidst the chaos caused by Ma's antics, his sophisticated daughter Floral, and his son Shag, who keeps things lively in the household with his mischief. Like father, like son, Pa tries to avoid work at all costs and prefers lounging and sleeping. He loved a slow life without excitement, especially one that allowed him to be on his couch all day. While Pa spends most of his time lazing around, he spends the remaining time on feuding with his rival Pa Hopper. But it, again, is usually a sluggish operation. They fire the same bullet back and forth from the comfort of their rocking chairs. It's a hilarious and laid-back rivalry. Imagine Pa Rugg saying, "Well, Ma, reckon it's time for another round of feuding. Fetch me that old bullet, would ya? And pass me the corncob pipe while you're at it." Super chill. So if you ever need a dose of down-home laughter, just revisit the Hillbilly Bears. Marvelous verdict. While these characters did not make it to the front pages like Hanna-Barbera's other characters, these animated icons have left their paw prints and sometimes hoof prints on our hearts. With their quirky dialogues and hilarious misadventures, each character added a layer of flavor to Hanna-Barbera's vast world of peculiar but amiable characters. But who's complaining? They made our mornings a little brighter and a lot more amusing. These might not be the first names that pop into our heads when we think of classics, but these forgotten gems are like old friends who pop up unexpectedly. So next time you spot a purple hippopotamus or a fedora-wearing alligator, give them a nod. After all, in the wacky world of Hanna-Barbera, anything's possible. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.